Hello and welcome to Embrace the Deception. In this video we're going to be stepping back in time a little bit and taking a look at a clip of Lance Armstrong denying doping allegations. This interview took place a long time ago, and we know that after the fact he did finally come out and admit it. So we know that he's lying in this video, but we're going to go back and we're going to look at some of the things you could have picked up on if you were watching this at the time. So let's go back to the beginning here.
Do you deny the statements that Miss Andrew attributed to you in the Indiana University Hospital?
100%, absolutely.
Do you also...
So there's a big red flag there. If you didn't catch that one, he was basically saying yes with his mouth, but no with his head. The interviewer asked him, do you deny the allegations? And he said, 100% absolutely. How can you be saying yes with your mouth, but no with your head? That incongruency is a sign of deception.
Hospital.
100%, absolutely.
Do you
There was also an increased blink rate. So when you close your eyes or blink rapidly, that's blocking. It's like putting up a barrier between you and the lie, or you and the punishment of the lie. So let's watch that one more time.
to you in the Indiana University Hospital?
100%, absolutely.
Do you also deny what Mr. Andrew said regarding those statements?
100%.
Same thing there with the second question, 100%. Shaking his head, answering yes with his mouth and no with his head.
Did you disclose to any medical professional at the hospital there, well...
Little bit of a head nod there. Did you disclose to any medical professionals at the hospital? He's kind of nodding along like, yeah, I did disclose it to them. So maybe it's not 100%, but my guess is that he probably did disclose it to a medical professional.
Disclose to any medical professional at the hospital there, well, let me rephrase that. Did any medical person ask you while you were at the Indiana University Hospital whether you had ever used any sort of performance-enhancing drugs or substances?
No, absolutely not.
So that just...
There was an increased blink rate again right before he answered the question, and he was nodding along with it when the question was being asked, and then after the interviewer finished asking the question, he increased his blink rate and said no.
Performance-enhancing drugs or substances?
No, absolutely not.
So that just never came up? No one ever, as part of your treatment, no one ever asked you that?
No.
The video quality is not very good. I couldn't find a better version. This is at 240p, so it's kind of pixelated, but I also saw some tension in the mouth and a hard swallow when he's being asked the tough questions. Those signs of nervousness could also be signs of deception.
No, as part of your treatment, no one ever asked you that?
No.
Can you offer, or can you help explain to me why Miss Andrew would make that story up?
Well, she said in her deposition she hates me.
And do you believe she's making that story up to get back at you or to cause you harm?
Whether she's making up that she hates me?
No. Do you believe that she's making, I mean,
right there, it's kind of like failure to understand a relatively simple question. That could be that he's trying to derail the question, so maybe the interviewer moves on to a different line of questioning, but I think the question was pretty straightforward, and he seems like he didn't understand it, so that could also be a sign of deception. It could be a legitimate misunderstanding, but it also could be a sign that he's not being truthful.
Can you help explain to me why Miss Andrew would make that story up?
Well, she said in her deposition she hates me.
And do you believe she's making that story up to get back at you or to cause you harm?
Whether she's making up that she hates me?
No. Do you believe that she's making, I mean, she's, according to you, the story where she said she specifically heard you say stuff, and that
right.
she, didn't you remember she testified she took Mr. Andrew out and confronted him regarding whether or not he was doing the same thing. Do you recall that testimony?
Yeah, vaguely, but I have no idea why she did that.
Okay.
Other than she hates me.
Okay. Obviously, you had a relationship with her. I mean, you knew her, and you go back sometime with her. And I'm asking if
I knew her Very little. Not very well.
So there's a few things there. The interviewer asks her if he knew her, and he said, "I knew her." The long pause. And then he says, "Very little." And then at the end he says, "Not very well." And he gets very soft, and he was speaking a lot more confidently before. So when you have that kind of an auditory change where you trail off and you just kind of, "Not very well," that could be a sign of deception.
You knew her, and you go back sometime with her, and I'm asking if...
I knew her...
Big pause.
Very little.
And then...
Not very well.
And then not very well. And then the tension in the mouth also after that. So I think he knew her better than he's letting on here.
Why would Mr. Andrew say the same things, if you know?
Probably to support his wife, which I don't know if you're married or not, but
I am.
Sometimes is required.
So you think, is it your testimony that Mr. Andrew was also lying when he said that he heard you say those things regarding your priorities?
100%.
There's his number one tell in this particular interview, at least, is to have that incongruency between what he's saying verbally and what he's saying non-verbally. Saying yes with his mouth and no with his head. He does it here for the third time.
Say those things regarding your priorities.
100%.
And that brings us to the end of the video.
Well,
It's
I think
just about to end here. So he has a couple of different tells throughout this video, like the and the big pause and then the trailing off at the end. That's a sign of deception. But his main one is that incongruency between the verbals and the nonverbals. Saying yes with your mouth and shaking your head no is a huge red flag. Definitely something to watch out for. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.